Melissa, I would like to know, why do certain burdens persist as ghosts in the psyche, and what keeps them unattached for decades despite of all the efforts that we make? And if you can add in some, example or personal experience, so that we can understand things better, it would be great.
Yeah. So I first started to work with unattached burdens, or, and people have different names for them, right? Some names can be kind of triggering for people, like they could be entities or ghosts or demons. I think that if you read Bob's book, he talks about lots of different terms that different cultures have used for
Mm,
these energies, right?
mm.
Some kind of negative energy that only wants one thing. And what is the one thing that these things want? Do you know what it is? What word is the number one word that describes what they want? What would it be?
Control?
So close, yeah. Power, right?
Wow. Mm,
I mean, and I've done a lot of work with my own unattached burdens, my own, demons. And
mm-hmm,
there is no conversation that doesn't start or end or all revolve around the word power. All they want is power. That's all they want. They really believe that if I have power over you, ha 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 ha, won't that be fun for me? And it's like they just
mm.
off of power, right? So when we start to frame this conversation about unattached burdens, I think it's really important to hold the framework that all they want from start to finish, first, middle, last, is power. So everything goes back to power. They want power. And so uh like I they will what they're one way you can think of them, and I mean this is all woo. Okay, so hey, if people have problems with woo, maybe step out now, you know what I'm saying, because we're going there, right? So when we are young, when we are little, or when we're in a hospital, or when we're sick, right, and our defenses are down, if we have
Mm,
cheese holes in our boundaries, okay, these entities
mm,
kind of float into us, and they like to jump from a place of lower power to higher power. So anywhere they think that they can create like a little nest, a little place where they can just suck off of you like a vampire and get your power and get your energy, they will do it, right? So it just gives them joy. It's just that's what's fun for them. So like people who so when I was a kid, I was in really horrific, very, very traumatic situations. And there would be a lot of negative energies floating around. And, when you're a shiny little kid who has, I don't know, like you, like me, we could be little gifted kids, or we could be just, there's something about us, right? There's an energy, a light. And these demons, these unattached burdens, they are like, they're like moths to the flame of energy, moths to the flame of power, moths to the flame of like something yummy. So they will go from, say, like this psychopath, right, say some 30-year-old psychopath who's abusing you, into your
mm,
6-year-old body, right? Because they're like, I
mm,
think I'll get even more power if I jump into you. And so I
mm,
think that's their original interest, is where will I get more power, right? So as a child in very abusive situations, especially if you're a gifted child, or, sensitive, or have something, right? They're attracted to it, and you will just accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and accumulate these demons, these unattached burdens. It's horrific. You can just be like, I call it like being a demon hotel, you know? And they just
mm,
lodge in you everywhere they can. And then they're just sucking off your energy forever. And it takes a lot of energy to, like, I mean, the more terrible experiences you've had, and the more, you know, these get into you, the more you just got to clean them out, clean them out, clean them out. I mean, just clean them out. So I think that's the origin of how they get into you, like as a kid. But then as an adult, when we are trying to heal, right? I think that the more we heal and the more light we begin to, embody, as we get lighter, as we clear more crap out, right? Paradoxically, a lot of wounded healers like you, like me, what happens to us, okay, is that we have a certain level of light and a certain level of like more evolved consciousness. Yeah. We also have shit boundaries. A lot of us have
Mm,
bad boundaries and we're still, full of like errors. We were trained to believe, abuse is love, and, you know, we have Stockholm syndrome or trauma bonding or like addictive attachments, right? We've got wacky stuff. Like, blessings to us.
mm,
We've been doing a lot of healing, but it doesn't mean, we're all done, right? So we're kind of lopsided. Like, we're light in these places and then we're all messed up in these places. And oh my gosh, that makes us tasty cakes for these unattached burdens, right? Because we have more energy, we have more power, but our boundaries are crap and they just love to get right into us.